Welcome to our 5-minute session. Today, we will discuss how ostracism could affect an individual's perceived meaningful existence and perceptual judgments of the environment, and how trait self-compassion could moderate the above effect. As we start, I would like you to recall the most recent incident when you are excluded in the social setting. How do you feel? And after the incident, what are some ways you use to comfort yourself? In psychology, ostracism refers to the social maltreatment of being ignored or excluded. These experiences could lead to psychological and behavioral changes among the victim as they perceive themselves as being left in the dark and having hurt feelings. In turn, empirical findings have demonstrated that ostracism could result in adverse psychological outcomes such as impaired self-regulation, increased conspiracy mindsets, and being vulnerable to depression and stress. This process, in which the victim is treated as invisible and non-existent by other group members, deprives their feelings of meaningful existence. Meaningful existence is a sense of recognition and worthiness. Thus, being ostracized deprives this feeling of meaningfulness because the victim is treated as the outlier of a social group. Research has further suggested that ostracism causes the victim to distance themselves from others, leading to many undesirable social problems. Furthermore, the theory of grounded cognition posits that abstract cognitive thoughts could impact the physical body, playing a significant role in emotional formation, processing, and social cognition. Since many ostracized people perceive themselves as being left in the dark, this study conceptualized the theory of grounded cognition and predicted that ostracism leads to darkness, a state associated with feelings of anonymity and disconnection from others, through the lack of meaningful existence. In other words, when ostracized people realize they are not recognized and feel low meaningful existence, their mind associates these feelings with increasing darkness judgments. Besides the lack of meaningful existence, this study also looks into another predictor that moderates this negative effect of ostracism: self-compassion, which is the ability to be warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, is a positive trait that helps us cope with the negative outcomes in life instead of ignoring our pain. Self-compassion is categorized into 3 aspects: mindfulness, self-kindness, and common humanity. Specifically, mindful awareness could prevent ostracized victims from ruminating on their negative experiences and toxic thoughts. Self-kindness could help build up kind and supportive messages towards oneself, while common humanity helps the victims to understand that everyone is vulnerable to ostracism and they're not alone. In the present research, we proposed that self-compassion moderates the effects of ostracism on darkness judgment through meaningful existence. Gathering all the information above, Dr. Poon and his research team created 3 hypotheses. First, ostracism should thwart meaningful existence and increase darkness judgment. Further, meaningful existence should mediate the impact of ostracism on darkness judgment. Finally, self-compassion moderates the proposed mediation effect such that the indirect effect of ostracism on darkness judgment through meaningful existence is significant among people with low self-compassion but not significant among people with high self-compassion. We conducted 2 studies using multi-methods to measure our experimental variables. In both studies, participants were randomly assigned to either the ostracism or the control condition. In Study 1, a recalling task was used to manipulate ostracism among those in the ostracism condition. They were instructed to recall the worst ostracism they had experienced in their life, while the control condition only recalled a neutral experience at the supermarket. Next, participants filled out a questionnaire measuring their meaningful existence. Finally, to evaluate their darkness judgment, participants responded to 2 statements of darkness judgment based on the lab room. Study 2 extended Study 1 and further tested the moderating effect. Participants first self-reported their dispositional self-compassion. Then, the perception of ostracism is induced through an imagination task. Being an intern at a new company, those in the ostracism condition imagined themselves being excluded by their colleagues, whereas those in the control condition imagined themselves being included. Finally, participants completed the same meaningful existence and darkness judgment measures as in Study 1. The results consistently showed that participants in the ostracism condition reported less meaningful existence and more darkness judgment compared to their non-ostracized counterparts. Moreover, Meaningful existence mediated the above effect, and self-compassion moderated the indirect effects such that ostracized individuals only reported more darkness judgment through meaningful existence when they had low trait self-compassion. In conclusion, the current findings show that trait self-compassion is a potential coping method to combat the adverse psychological outcomes of ostracism and perceptual judgments of the environment. This is the end of our presentation. If you would like to learn more about the topic, you can scan the QR code to access the research article. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.